Almost slapped myself. The microphone. Jesus Christ. It was so long ago. Hold on, I'm not ready. Still spamming the links. That's a general, that's an off topic. The mission playthroughs, game ideas, jam, tech, blah 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 blah. Off topic maybe. How you doing, everybody? Let me find music. Music? Okay, we have some music. Is it loud? A bit. That's more appropriate. I need one more link. Let's So what are we gonna do today? It's quite simple. We kill the Batman. On a more serious note, we have this cool little jam going on every year where we create cool little games that take around 20 seconds per playthrough or play session, or however you want to phrase that. I wanted to load it, but I think it is down because it does. Oh, it loaded. Okay, hold on. Bloop. We jump into here quickly, but we're gonna also jump over to here. Browser jump scare. Whoa. So this is a 20-second game jam site. I think it is linked. Diamond, welcome. Oh, we do have a tag. Hold on. PC. Mastodon. Edit. Who is edit? Update. So yeah, we have 3 teams which you can or cannot use. Not cannot. You can choose to use them or not. Words, Jesus Christ. What I thought was fun is the slow decay. And with 20 seconds of gameplay, that's like, how? Yeah, explode or explode, or oh no, not the apocalypse again. I'm kind of interested how they did this, by the way, that this is still text but has this cool CSS to it. Game master web build, we are gonna use PICO-8, so we're gonna have a cool little web build. So yeah, for the last 2 years I participated in this jam, missed the first 2. Oh, look at this. I think this is just a random selection, but this is the entry, our entry for last year, where we combined the Suica game with DDR and Duck Hunt, and it turned into this game input madness, whatever you want to call it, thing. So this year the plan is simpler a bit. I wanted to figure out something. I have a Discord playing. Okay, Axis. I know that this is not a problem to share the link. Hell yeah, thank you. So I have something cooked up already, just as a very crude proof of concept. We're gonna rewrite most of this, but let me show you how this looks. So no, this is not Xterra. This This is the 22nd Game Jam. There you go. Blip. Whoop. We're gonna have a little image soon, but for the time being this is gonna stay. So what I want to show you is the earlier proof of concept. I think it's called Lina Bombs. Look at this madness. Jesus Christ, the smooth 60 FPS. This is way too much, and it wasn't this earlier. So let me modify it a bit for you. I need the Pico ASCII table. I need this face. I need it updated here. I know it is not visible, but it's not the point at the moment. And we're gonna reduce. So this was the really first concept. The idea is gonna be that you want to avoid getting hit by the things that are flying towards you, but not fully, because you will gain point by grazing them, basically. So like being in near them. I think the code is a bit broken for now. Yeah, it seems like. Okay, we can update it, that's not the problem. So let's see, what did we mess up here. So you will be able to generate points by being near things, but they are aiming at you, so you cannot really stay at one place. And if they hit you, they're gonna reduce your score a bit. And your goal will be to amass as many points in 20 seconds as you can. This is not visually representative of what we are making. This is just the first, like, you know, the first sketch, basically. Let's go back here. Let's see, what did I mess up? Is this too low? I'm gonna explain this, like, once we rewrite all this. Okay, it was just too low. Where is the sweet spot? Is this too high? Yeah, okay. Something messed up a bit back there, but who is reducing my points? AG, welcome in. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. We're making a cool little game for the 22nd Game Jam, which I can highly advise to you, because it is always fun. What is my disk check is doing? It is... yeah, it's just returning me if the square roots are bigger. Huh. So the game has to be 20 seconds to play? Exactly, basically. There are like some rule variations, not variation, like ask the host has a somewhat a different take to what I do. I always make the game so the gameplay is 20 seconds, but technically you could have multiple stages that took 20 seconds each. So like it's generous with the concept. I just don't like when you make multiple levels, because to me that defeats a bit the purpose a bit. Like I like when the main game loop that you create is what's grabbing you and not the multiple stages, because at that point it's not really 20 seconds but like 20 seconds 20 times and a bit differently. I mean, whatever. But yeah, the main idea is it goes till the 2nd of December, I think. Let me check quickly. Yeah, it ends on the 3rd, not on the 2nd. So it's 23 days from now on. So you have ample time to create a game. It is going for ages, yeah. That's why I like it. It's like you have a lot of time to create something small and like try to brew up an essence. So let me show you, like I can show a few games to you. I have the perfect idea for this. I hope I have the time to make something. Hell yeah. I'm glad I could get one more dev into this. It's like I'm gonna be a bit cheeky. Oh, this 20 or 20 seconds is a really cool one. So what I did last year, I already forgot how to play this. Come on, H. Okay, it's not too loud. So last year I did this little game where I combined the idea of Duck Hunt and the DDR with Suika Hunt, because it was like a really popular thing, and I hope that it would grab some more attention this way. Basically you have the fruits flying and you can shoot them out with the DDR input. Each fruit has... Oh, this is way too big. Each fruit has a DDR input under it, and shooting down a fruit always spawns a bigger one, if I remember correctly. They can really combo them out, but the input gets longer and longer and longer. So now we have the sweet melon, and the biggest one is the melon, because Suika Hunt. Oh, thank you. And the year before that, we did the fishy quest. This was my first entry to the jam. Oh yeah, this is gonna work. I'm gonna try to mute the music because it's somewhat of bad music. This is basically just a fishing game. You have the fishies, you have junk, and you have to catch as many points as you can. The deeper the fish, the more points there are. But your hook is gonna catch the first thing it touches, so... Ugh, I get the bone. We have these little bubble columns to spice up the game a bit, and that's all. So it's like really small scoped, simple games. That's what I try to do. Ugh, the bone. The bone again. It's not like the OG web fishing. I'm just kidding. Fishing before it was cool. These are way more in depth than what I'm thinking. You don't have to, I don't think so, but there's like nothing telling you that the game needs to have depth. Like a simple idea made well is the whole point of the game jam. Like the 20 words, 20 seconds is like a typing game for words. There was... I haven't played all of them last year, but... I played a few of them. Too Hard is amazing. It's by the host. It's a really fun game. There is stay in circle, which literally stay in a circle. Sisyphus Postal Company. Oh my god, this game tilted me more than anything. Jesus Christ. It's like a janky physics, drone controlling, delivering stuff game. 22nd Hero. What was this? This was like, I think, killing enemies with numbers above their head, and you leveled up and there was a boss in the end, I think. Yeah, this was, you can grab this, you can grab this, now you can grab this and this. And if the enemy is bigger than you, it hurts you back. Bam. I'm still at level 2. 1, 4. So I just died because I went to a 4 with 4 and then you still take damage and there is a boss in the end. So the games themselves can be like super simple. Oh, this is by Very Software. It's like, what if you have to survive for 20 seconds basically in a bullet hell game? If I remember correctly. So it's like Pop Champ. What the fuck? I don't remember this. I just remember the silhouette of this art. Meowana was cool. I don't remember. Oh yeah, this was a clicking game. I think you had to like click on things and clicking reduce their health, and basically you had this much time to click on them. So what are you making this year? We have a really crude prototype over there running in the corner, but I can bring it to here. Bloop. The idea is gonna be to avoid enemies, but not avoid them so much that you are too far, because you're gonna gather points by staying near them. I messed up something with my code and we will have to figure that out today. I'm just gonna get rid of this. So staying in near enemies will gather points for you, but the enemies aim at you, so you cannot just be here, because look at what happens if you just stay near one. I haven't thought about the lore fully. It's like, it's gonna be Lina above a forest, and for some reason something is swarming at you, and I haven't figured out that yet. So the lore is still waiting a bit. But the distance check is surely not working fully because I'm nowhere near anything and my points are going up, so you could do bees. Yeah, I'm thinking about something like bees or like some kind of magical, I don't know, flying bomb, or I don't know. Like, I haven't thought that much ahead. I was just like, what if I make a game where you have to dodge but not fully dodge? Because I think there are like, I played a lot of shmups because of with their friends always making shmups. Loki, damn you Loki. And if I remember correctly, some shmups have a scoring so that being close to the bullets generate points. So you don't want to fully avoid the bullets, just go near them, if I remember correctly. Deontay, welcome in. Nerdy, welcome in. I'm not sure if I greeted you, sorry if I didn't, but I think you are usually on a phone call, so okay, welcome in, welcome in. How are you doing, Deontay? I'm gonna jump back into here, and we're just gonna start coding in a new file, because I know this is always like boring getting all this out, but one day someone will look at this video on YouTube and it's gonna be like, hell yeah, this is what I needed. So back into an empty file we go. We will need the init. We're gonna need the trifecta of PICO-8 functions, the update, and the draw call. While we are at it, we're gonna call this CLS, so we clear the screen. So we will need a player, 8 x, I don't know, 64, y equals 64. So we start in the middle. I'm just gonna copy the buttons because I don't want to copy all of them. But it is basically just checking if buttons pressed. So button 0, buttons always go from 0. Oh, this is not the comment here. What was the comment in PICO-8? Is it the dash dash? It is the dash dash. 0 is left, 1 is right, 2 is up, 3 is down. So it goes in like a weird circle around the arrows. So we don't need all this move code yet. So basically what we are doing here is just checking if the button is pressed. So if left is pressed, we're gonna subtract 2 from the X. So we're gonna go to the left because the top left corner is 0, 0. If you're pressing the right, we are adding to the X, and the same with the Y. So if you press the up button, we're gonna subtract because top part is 0, the bottom is 128. And the one last thing we want to do is draw the player on the screen. For the time being, this is gonna be a print call. I'm gonna need this. And this is gonna be player.x, player.y, and for example 12, so it is nice and blue. So if we go back to PICO-8, cd 20 sec and 40, load 20 sec, run. Now we have a player that moves around the screen. That's all it takes. So now let's add something to the screen that is not us, but an enemy. For this, we're gonna create, this is still not // it is --. So hold on, it's control plus, right? Yeah, it's control plus. Array to hold the enemies. So we're gonna say enemies is an empty collection or object or table. This is Lua, you can call them however you want. I always mix the array or table just randomly. So if I'm picking one, I'm meaning the other and all of them basically. It doesn't matter, I think, how you call them. And now let's create an enemy for the funs of it. So enemy is gonna be at like 90 xy equals 90, 90. Now let's draw this enemy the same way we are doing us. Enemy. Just make it red. So if I restart, there is now this stupid little guy here. Ew, look at him. How ugly. Ew, ew. So why I did the enemy this way is just to show you that also this is surely not 90. What? This is like 9. What? Enemy X, enemy Y. Why were you over there? This doesn't work with if you are doing it inside an object. Cannot do this. Huh. I mean, it somewhat makes sense, but so you can do like variable declarations. X xy equals 90 like this, so you can have like a long list. But it looks like if you are assigning something inside an object, you have to do them separately. Huh. The more you know. Today I learned something. So I wanted to show this because now if I want another enemy, I would have to do this, which is clearly not optimal. Because it works. Like I can do this. But like if I want 100 of them on the screen, that's not gonna fly. So let's delete this. And how about we create a function that does all this for us? Function add enemy and here we're gonna say local enemy. X is gonna be a random number between 128 and 0. And Y is gonna also be this. So it's gonna be a random number on the screen basically. And now we're gonna add this enemy to the enemies table. So whenever we call this function, it will create a new object, this enemy, and we will plop it inside this array. And then here, what we can do is for the number of enemies 1 minus 1. So we are just going from, so this call basically returns how many elements are in the array. Not fully, but for the time being it works for us. Because it cannot really handle arrays with holes, but we won't have holes. And now what we can do is, inside this we can do local enemy equals enemies. And I forgot an I. Blip. Blip. Enemy. So we're just gonna loop over the full enemies array, and we're gonna plop each element inside that into this enemy, and we're just gonna draw it on the screen. And let me call this once when we start the game. Wow. And now if you reboot, we have this enemy over here. It should be red. Yep. Whee! There is an enemy here. Wow. And this is better because now you can do things like this. For I equals 1 to 300, do end. Whee! 300 enemies with one line. One day it would be fun to make a maze game like this that just plops a whole lot of shit onto the screen and you would have to like slowly get through them, not touching the stuff. But hey, we have enemies. So now that we have them, let's have them do stuff. So what we can do is move them to the player, because then you have to dodge. So for this, we will create two new variables here. I'm gonna call them AX, acceleration, which should be probably SX, but that's weird for me to say. AX, AY, in X direction. Speed, basically. And I'm gonna do the same for Y. So now what you can do is, just so I can show you what this does. Let's make it a random number when we create the enemy. And now you have to update the enemies during the game. Update enemies. We're gonna grab this force cycle that we have for drawing because we can reuse this. So it's gonna do the same loop through the array one by one. And what you can do here now is enemy.x plus equals enemy.ax. And the same for y. And why? Because now if I save, it's just gonna go woo. Because every frame, the AX and AY is updated to their coordinates. This is not fully what we want, but this is just a demonstration. What we will want here is calculate the angle between the enemy and the player. We're gonna do this on spawn, so the enemy just goes to where you were and not actively chase you. I'm gonna show you later why, but for this we will need an angle, and you can do angles with this handy function called 8 and 2. This is a trigonometry function. Look into it. Basically it tells you the angle between a point and the x what is it called? Plane? I think it's called plane, but what we do with these is trigonometry shit. 8 and 2 gives the angle between 2 points compared such as goal minus position. So what we're gonna do is, our goal is the player's position, so we're gonna say player dot x minus enemy dot x. This is one of the components, and the other is the other coordinate, player dot y minus enemy dot y, and hopefully it is like this. And I'm not just talking out of my ass, but we can check quickly. So now we have an angle. So like if I'm up here in the add enemy and he's down at here in PICO-8, I don't have my telestrator. Do I want my telestrator? Hold on. I don't have my draw pad plugged in. Or your draw pad. I borrowed Dial's draw pad, like the old one, to do stuff. Oh, let me... This was me, not you. Don't worry. Your Windows is okay. It is on my book drive, if I remember correctly. Stream, telestrator. Bloop. Does it have socials, title to do, window capture? Is this the telestrator? No, do I have... a window capture? Not existing. Drawer, spotty, virtual window capture. Okay, so let's create a new window capture. Although I should have it somewhere. VS Code CLI. Open board. It is not called open board. Yes. Don't get scared. Flash is incoming, and I want a filter to this. I want a... What is this? Effect filter, chroma key, some color, select color, loop, white, low. And I can transform it to screen. And in theory now I can... Whee! Okay, Telestrator, hell yeah. So what the 8 and 2 does basically is you have... this is on eraser. I want it to color. So basically you have... Wow. That's like the wonkiest. Line I ever did. So if you have your coordinate system like this, loop loop, this is 0 0, then if you have a point here, P8, P2, so this is like the X and this is the Y, you can do the 8 and call, 8 and 2, and you can say if you want this angle, bloop, this angle here, this, then you can say it is 8 and, so the goal is P1 minus 0, P2 minus 0. Oh, it's PICO-8 is covering it. There. So if you have 2 points somewhere on your screen, so like I have the player here on X, Y, and I have the enemy here on X, Y, then 8 and 2, EX, EX, EY. EY is gonna give me the angle from here to here. Basically. Wipe. So this is why we are doing this. And why else we are doing this? We are doing this because now we have an angle. Now you can say that the enemy.ax should be sinus, I don't know, however you want to say it. I'm just saying sinus because that's how we call it in Hungarian. And the enemy.ay should be cosinus. Blip. And now if we reboot PICO-8, blip. And I messed up one of the directions. Did I mess up? I messed up one of the components, so did I mess up? Yeah. Is it backwards? Did I do it backwards? Is it cosinus? Sinus? Oh, it is. Okay. So now, if we reboot PICO-8, you can see that everyone is coming at me. Whee! Because they are following the angle given to them, basically. So when they start, they calculate the angle where you were, and they're just going at that angle with a constant speed. This is what we want, because now you can just dodge away and nothing happens. What will happen if you do this runtime? So like you are always updating them to do this. I can show you. It's gonna be really funny. So we're gonna do this when we are updating an enemy. What will happen is you're gonna have a rough time because they're just gonna chase you forever. So yeah, we want this only when they are spawned. So now enemies spawn, they chase us down, and then they go away. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's fix this, because now they went away and we have nothing to do. So we can fix this by a very simple thing. Let's say we want to add an enemy every second. So we're gonna say if time modulo 1 equals 0, then, because this is still not slash slash, this is dash dash, every time we divide time with 1 and the result is 0, spawn an enemy. Basically once a second. Add enemy. We go back to PICO-8. Now you can see enemy is slowly appearing on the screen. Huh. Clearly a few of them are going into the wrong direction. Why are they going that way? Huh? Oh, because I forgot the sinus from here. That's why. Yay! So, for why the sinus and the cosinus counts or matters, so why we are doing that is basically, and this might be me remembering trigonometry a bit wrong, but we have the whole screen, which is clearly not just one x direction, but like a big two-dimensional grid here and here. So once you have the angle, so you have the little angle calculated with A10, what you can do is, I think this might be wrong, I will look it up. I think the horizontal is sinus, this one is cosinus. And basically, basically with this sinus and cosinus calculations that we do, so like ax equals, this is the cos angle, ay equals sinus angle. So what you're doing is you're calculating this big circle here, and you're calculating the component for the cosinus angle, which I don't know, is maybe here. So the cosinus angle is here, the sinus angle maybe somewhere here also. So you're gonna get the angle where to move on a 2D plane, basically. That's why you do this cosinus thingamajig. Yes. Okay, so we are now moving. We have one little problem. I don't think it shows yet. No, not yet, but let me crank up enemies a bit. So let's say I want to add for I equals 1 and let's do 100 so I can really crank it up and show you the problem. Okay, 100 might be too much, but also let me tone down the color. Should be a 1. If you go back to here to PICO-8, and you can see this up here, this little window, that is basically our performance. And this is our CPU time. Basically how much of the CPU we are consuming, this 77. You can see it slowly creeping up, even though we are not doing anything different. What we are doing different is we are not deleting any of the enemies that go off screen. So if I say the number of enemies, print me the number of enemies, there is 2000 of them off screen somewhere, and that is what is eating our performance. So you want to clear them out. So for this we will need a little logic over here when we are updating them. Check if the enemy is off screen, delete if so. Back to code. So we're gonna say if enemy dot x is smaller than -10, or enemy dot x is greater than 130, or enemy dot y is less than -10, or enemy dot y is greater than 130. And done. So these -10 and 130 is just like numbers pulled out of my ass that are off screen, basically. So your screen goes from 0 to 128. So these are around, let's do this then to 138. So it's 127 technically. So they should be 7. So this is basically 10 pixels over the screen. So if they are more than 10 pixels away from the screen, we know that they are going away. So delete them. Del from the enemies array, delete this little enemy. So now you can see if I stay here in the corner, the performance is around the 70-30. It doesn't creep up, because as soon as the enemies go a little bit more down to the corner, then we are done. They are deleted. Oh, Jesus, there's so many of them. So now we have enemies, they are cleared up so we don't hog all the CPU time. Let's do some collision checking. So what I'm gonna do for collision checking is it's like a weird collision checking. It's like, I think it is called for the circles, but basically we're gonna do distance checking. Function distance. Object 1, object 2, distance. So how you calculate distance basically is local distance on x is equals to object 1.x minus object 2.x. This is the difference. We're gonna calculate this the same for the y. And here, most of the time, you will do a square root. So you're gonna saw. Not even sure if it is called like this. Might be something different. Basically, you are square rooting the distance on x on the power of 2. So basically, you multiply it by itself. Boom. And the y, and you are comparing it to the distance. Where is it? Yeah, so you get. I'm not gonna do that because so you add this to here times distance dot y, and you're returning if this is smaller. So now you can compare it to the distance you want square rooted. But the problem is that square root is a really costly thing, and if you want many things on the screen, you probably don't want square root. So what you can do is just stay with the doubles. So you can do this. Not the doubles, the power of 2s. Now this is not distance, but maybe distance collision. So returning if the distance is smaller than what we give as this distance value here. Return true if the distance between two things is smaller than what we supply to the function. And now here, when we are updating the enemies, what you can do is, if this, is it called collision? Distance collision. I need to close this and this. So if the distance collision is true for the enemy and the player, and we want to give it like a number, let's do 20. Then we're gonna say points plus equals 1. We don't have points yet, but let's do a point. Point equals 0. And let's draw this point. Print point 007. There are way too many enemies on screen. Let's just remove this. Move this. So now you can see that if I stay somewhat closer to an enemy, my score goes up. Number go bigger. So let's switch a bit from ASCII characters to little circles, so it is more keen to your eye, to our eye. Bloop, bloop. I'm gonna save this. And then here we can say it's not a print anymore. It is a sprite call. The sprite one for the player. And the sprite call for the enemies as well. SPR is 2 for the enemies. So this 1 and 2 because we are using the first and the second sprite. So now we have these circles. How far? I can stay really far for now. So let's modify this. Because it is clearly way too much. Let's go 16. Can I have one enemy? Let's quickly stop the enemies for the time being. So we can check stuff. Oh, they are still called with random. 0, 6. So, and also stop adding them because the screen is gonna get way too crowded. Bloop. Arp, Griffin, welcome. Happy to see you back on Gamedev. Thank you. It's good to be back somewhat. I was on a really hard burnout session. But the 30-second game jam is here, so we are jamming it up. So if I... So this is the distance I need to be in. Also this is... I think it is still the corner. Yeah, technically this is not the best drawing we could do. The better would be circles, circle, player X, player Y, 3, 8, not 8, 12, for example. And this should be 1. And for the enemy, yeah, so now this is more accurate in all axes, basically, because now the center point is the center of the circle. Because if you do just a sprite, the X and the Y is the top left corner of the sprite. Hydrate, of course. Posture check. It was okay. Thank you for the hydrate. Everyone, please, if you have some water, drink as well. Hydration is winning station. Welcome in, Zoe. How you doing? Your weekend is going nice. So clearly this distance is way too big. Like, yeah, that is a lot. That is a lot. So let's do like 12. I'm doing okay, thank you. Went out to the store to buy curtains because I saw curtains for the last 2 weeks and I was like, maybe I will buy them, maybe not. And today the sun upset me by blinding me and I was like, okay, I will go out and buy those. And of course they took it off the shelf. It's the classic. Yeah, this is better for sure. Yeah, they feel it. Like I go out craving, I don't know, like pretzels, and I go out, and of course they are out of pretzels. I don't know how they do it or how we are doing it. Okay. So now we can gather points. Let's make it so that we can lose points as well. So if this distance is smaller than, I don't know, 6, then the points should be the points minus 1 or 0, because you don't want to go negative. How do you keep track of tokens when using an external editor? I go back to PICO-8 and press the escape, and look here. But I can tell you that through all of my projects, I stumbled upon the token limit once so far. I'm not making that big of crazy games. The only game that reached the token limit for me was the Shmup project, like the Witches of the Moon. And that is also mostly because I had the behavior of stuff not really well defined. I think if I go back, I could like cut down a lot there. But this is what, yeah, 300, not even 300 tokens. So we're more than fine, and throughout the whole development, we will not even reach half point. I'm like pretty sure. But there is no good way, to my knowledge, to know it with outside. I don't think anyone made a parser yet that could count the tokens up for you. It should be a cool side project once for sure. Making a parser that parses in the whole tree with all the functions and such, but it would be a hell because I for example don't know all the little tricks and like how to do such function coding. So yeah. So if you are too close, we want to subtract 1 from my points, but we don't want to go under 0, so we're gonna just say that it should be the maximum of either the reduced score, or if that is negative, then the 0 is kicking in and we don't care what is inside points anymore. It's gonna be set to 0. So if the distance is less than 6, then it's boo-hoo, we don't want to be that close. But if it is not, and it is still less than 12, then we are good. We want points. So I think if we go back to here, I just don't like the default PICO-8 editor, but I know that's a sweet spot for a lot of devs. So now I'm not way too close to the enemy. I'm gaining points. Now I'm too close, so I'm losing points. That is... we can increase this for now. It's like all the... This is... For the time being, this is nothing, just a proof of concept still, because we will have to tinker with all the numbers, mostly of the sprites. So now this is the collision, that is too much. So let's go to 7. Oh, hold on. It's too close. Wait, points. And now I'm too close. What is the concept here? The concept is gonna be the following. The enemy is gonna... Now I can show you the proof of concept one. Load dash Lino. The concept is gonna be something like this. We're gonna fly through the sky, enemies gonna spawn at us, and we have 20 seconds to gather as much points as we can. The points are gathered in a way that you will have to stay close to an enemy that is going somewhere. But if they touch you, they decrease your points. So it's like the shmup grazing scoring mechanic turned into a whole new game on itself. It's like gather points if you are close enough, but if they hit you, you lose points. And we are doing this for the 20-second game jam, so you will have 20 seconds to amass as many points as you can. It's just the art is nothing at the moment because we're just proofing it up. I forgot what I named the file. Was it 26? So here I'm just refining the code a bit because the collision was not working properly back then. But it looks like now I'm too far. Okay. So let's make it so that they move again. So assign the angle back to the calculation. What the hell happened there? So now I can somewhat follow this guy. I'm not adding new enemies. And we have an ad break coming in. It's gonna be, I think, just a minute. But it is not going yet. So just added back the enemies. Now I can try to fly around them and get their points. I think the symbols in PICO-8 serve a purpose when prototyping, so you can use them instead of stressing on art right away because it's so perfect. Or you can be an absolute giga chad and make a game just with those. But yeah, the symbols is really cool. That's why I made I think one game. I want to make a few more, but I really dig the idea of PICO-ASCII only. Exactly because of what you're saying, like, hey, forget art, you don't need art. We have all these cool little symbols inside PICO-8. Just jam with those. I might be one of the few who has a start with art. I might be the one. Oh, you mean when developing, right? In the meantime, let's load in skip. Let's load in this in the meantime. We can have some PICO-ASCII action. I can do what you're doing here. Usually I do a little mock-up first. I was just too lazy. But that's half the truth. Because I know what I want to draw mostly, because it is gonna follow the Linaverse basically I have going on. Because every year I made a Lina game for the jam, and we're gonna follow that now as well. And I have so many sprites of Lina at this point that I'm probably just gonna reuse one of them. What I don't know yet is what the enemies are going to be. I have no clue. But yeah, this is a very simple example of what you can do with just ASCII characters. Like, there is no sprites here. None at all. And I think the game was kinda enjoyable. Oh, I lied. The title is a sprite. My bad. Right? The title is a sprite. Oh wait, it isn't? What? How did I do my title? Hold on. I forgot what I did. Wizard? Drawing? It is not even a sprite, it's just an outline printed text. Okay. So Magom has the wizard game, only free wizards, has no sprites at all. It doesn't use anything. And I want to explore that sometime soon. I just want to make a Lina game because it's like somewhat a tradition at this point that I do a Lina game for Magom. So like we're gonna probably just load in not that bad. Just gonna probably grab Lina from the Witches of the Moon tile set. It's like her here from the broom. Like this sprite. We're gonna probably reuse just this one because it is already done. Why redo it 3 times? Maybe we can play around with a bit, but to be honest, I'm still liking this sprite. We can get rid of the little flashing thing in the middle, probably. So yeah, we will probably have all these trees just like recolored on the bottom, so we're like flying through the air. So most of the graphical thing I already figured out because it's gonna be just this scene but in the daytime, basically. And we have enemies spawning all over and you're just gonna go yeah. We could use the magic boat, but the magic boat is that's a stretch. I think I have a Lina also in Suika Hunt. Lord, is it called actual Suika Hunt? What did I call that? That's the bin. That's the fishy quest. So yeah, I usually have a mock-up also, but it's like just a mock-up. Like art is, I usually start with something of dummy art and then create a proof of concept thing. Fishes for the export. Mapsoko. I don't even know what it is named. That's weird. Or is it the 22nd one? Oh, it is. Okay, so I have this little Lina as well. This just moving around on Suika Hunt. But like, I have most of the graphical look figured out. Oh, I could do like a revenge game where all these Suika fruits are flying at you, but yeah, those trees are really like the Druid Dash trees. I think I reused them somewhere. Which was it? I think in Kumatori Panic, right? It uses the exact same trees. Yeah, Kumatori has the exact same trees. I was not sure anymore, but it turns out it uses the same trees. Also, the veggie combo also uses them, right? This is a huge dungeon, by the way. Huh. Oh, I don't like this loading screen, by the way. Yeah, Magicom also uses these trees. It's like such an... Everyone, for some reason, like this tree, and to this day, I don't know why people like this tree. And I somewhat warmed up to it, so I'm just using it because exactly what you said. It's like people look at it as this, I saw this tree before. Anyway, back to here. The veggie combo game logo there is so clean. What did you display all the files of that name? Oh, you mean when I say this? Hopefully you mean this. You just press tab, the tab button. It tries to autocomplete, but since it has more than one possible outcome, it shows you all the outcomes. It's like a classic CLI thing. Even if I want to, like, if I go back to CD and I say CD, you can... I cannot tab, but I can say, you know, and it will list you everything that starts with that, basically. Like, list your options. 20s. So now you like it. I pasted in 20. It cannot, doesn't know the difference between the executables. Use a good naming convention for your games. Yeah, and don't store them in one big directory like I'm doing it, because it's just stupid. Put this back. Like, look at this. Where is it? The ending is way too close. You have to start something. You cannot empty tab. So you have to have something that it tries to autocomplete. Like, look at this. This is my chords directory. Don't do this, people. I'm hopeful that it doesn't like crash automatically. Look at all this shit. Like, I have 10 versions of, you know, Witches of the Moon outside. Why? I have a directory for it. It auto completes up to a point where there are multiple files, but didn't show the other files listed like that. Oh, that's weird. It should in theory. Don't laugh. You should look at my desktop. That's like way worse. Also, classic PICO-8 development thing. 40 untitled files. Okay, tangent over. Back to developing. So that was such a huge tangent. Jesus Christ. Not organized. So at the moment, enemies spawn on the screen. That's not on screen, but sometimes, which is stupid. And they can spawn from every direction. What I want is for them to mostly come from either this right side or the bottom, which is quite easy of a change. Because we go back to here, we go back up, and let's say that this is strictly 130. So X is strictly out of the screen, but not so out that it is deleting, because our deleting border is at 137. and we are randomizing the Y. If we do this and go back to PICO-8, they're just gonna come from this right side, which is somewhat what we want. Yeah, this is, you should not do this. I started somewhat with directories and Git, but I haven't finished because I'm a lazy bitch. So now they can spawn on the right side. Let's leave the comment up here. On half of the enemies, we want them to come from the bottom up. Come from the butt. We're gonna say if R&D smaller than 0.5, which is not exactly half, because I think it cannot do 1. It can only do like 99999, but I don't care. And at end, then, so if you flip a coin, basically, then let's do the opposite. Enemy.y would equals 130. Enemy.x should be a random number between this. So now if you go back to here, these are there it goes. Although this one went a really weird way. Oh yeah, you know why it went? Anyone knows? Who knows why sometimes why this guy doesn't follow me exactly? Like that guy is also, where is it going? What the hell? That one that just went off screen. Hold on, let me, like that, where are you going? Because the answer is quite easy. It's quite elementary, my sir, or how that saying goes. So what we are doing at the moment is you are spawning an enemy at a random location, somewhere on the screen, a bit outside. Then we are calculating the angle between it and the player. And then half the time we are placing it somewhere else. So the angle doesn't work because it is not on the same position anymore. We have to do the position modifying first and then calculate the angle. Not be stupid like me. Look at them, everyone is following me. Kimpa, welcome in. Thank you for the raid. How you doing, kind sir? We're doing a jam, jamming it up for the 20-second game jam. We're making a stupidly simple game at the moment with the Wart. That's too close. Also, we will need a different movement for us because we are way too fast. I want a mode when we are moving way slower than this. Also, are we on 60 frames per second? We created a Python script for the stream to play Super Mario World on my PC. Heck yeah! That sounds amazing. Is it complete? Or is it in progress still? complete as in you can chain multiple commands and it will drive those for the duration requested, not asynchronous inputs yet. Oh, okay. Hold on. Where is my browser thingy? There it is. Also, so give the commands here, and basically it follows them. If I jump, right. Oh, that's neat. I don't did this quite long, but hey chat, if any of you are interested in Python code and Super Mario World, it is up here. The language I'm not familiar with, it looks like one of these Scandinavian ones with all the umlauts. But sorry if it is not. It looks like a cool project. Never scripted something like this. Oh. One day I will look into this. It's finished. Okay. Here for jumping in, and that looks like really neat. This finish. Ah, it was one of the northern ones. There are not many of us in Europe who use the umlauts, so it was. I'm not saying not hard, because I think the Danish and the Germans, and by that I guess the Dutch also use them. But... So now we can gather points, right? We need more enemies for sure. Oh yeah, what we are doing? There is a really cool jam going on. I went for like the past 2 years, which is the 20-second game jam, where the main idea is that your gameplay is 20 seconds for your game. So like it's basically very small, neat little games. And we are making a game where you want to avoid stuff, but not fully. It's like the shmup grazing scoring system, but turned into a game. Yeah, I really dig PICO-8. But like, I think my profile speaks about PICO-8 enough. Like all of these are PICO-8. I don't even know. Like this is the one game that is not PICO-8. And this. That's a really old project. I'm basically a PICO-8 Andy, but one day I will turn to other stuff as well. I wanted something, but I forgot. Streamer speaking, thinking, going for English and other stuff in the same time. Oh yeah, more enemies. So the only problem with this kind of spawning, where we use the modulo for stuff, is the fact that the time is not fully going up by once. So I can show you. 7. It's like going up by these 353s basically. So if you go for something smaller than a second, we want something else. And for the timing, we also want something. So let's create a frame counter. So let's go frames equals 0. In the main loop, we're just gonna say frames plus equals 1. So every frame we're adding 1 to frames. And for example, now we can fine-tune spawning to like the game frames. So let's say every 3 frames we want to spawn something, and 1 second by default is 30 frames, so it's like every 10th of a second, which is gonna be quite fast. Like, look at all this. And we don't want to use the 30 frame mode of PICO-8 anyway, because the 60 is way cooler. We're just gonna go way faster than this if we update to update 60. So this is how you can just switch to 60 frames per second inside PICO-8. Look at that. Wow. Smooth. Which is not fully smooth, I think, on your end, because I'm not streaming at 60 FPS. I'm streaming at like 49, I think. But yeah, points galore. This is gonna be such chaos, by the way. Oh my god. Also, this number of enemies is still relatively smooth. Heck yeah. It's like 7% of the CPU, so which is kind of surprising. Oh no, we're not using square root. I think that's the reason why it is not. Let me do a quick modification in the code. Distance check. There's a square root somewhere, and I always forget where is the square root. I will just square root the number, okay. So you square root this here. I think it is SQRT, but Nerdy can correct me on this one. I think this would put up the performance thing we are doing. Not that much, it's like 2-3% more. Oh. It's like at 9 or 10. Oh, I would imagine that is way more than that, but it's not. I did reload, right? Yeah, I did. Oh. I guess, okay. We can even keep the square root one then, but let's go back to this. I don't think we will overflow on any of these. Can we? So what is 128 times 128? It's 16,000. And the maximum in PICO-8 is 32. So basically the only time that this can overflow is when the enemy is at the very bottom of the screen and I'm at the very corner. Right? Not even, because 128 is the max distance. Times 2. 32,258. It's not the integer limit, right? It's like 32. Not this integer limit. Is it the short one then? It is 32,767. Yeah, we are more than fine, I think. Technically, the enemy can be 10 more away. So 127 times 127. It can overflow. Ah. Huh. For the moment, I don't care. That's the problem of the user for the moment. To do overflow check, like not under overflow technically. So this can roll over to the negative number, and then it is gonna be smaller than the distance. What was I doing? Oh yeah, we were doing the frames. The frames thingamajig. So now way more enemies spawn. Maybe what we want is not this. Because if you go back to here... I mean, with this much enemies, it feels somewhat okay. On the first demo that I did, like the proof of concept that I did early this morning, it felt like the enemies always come from one direction because we are spawning them one at a time. And what I did is basically triple this, but inside it spawn 3 enemies. I don't think at this number it wants more. Jesus, this is so many things on the screen. So one last thing that we need is the 20-second gameplay. So what you can do is 20 seconds is like what, 1200 frames, right? 20 times 60, yeah, that's 1200 frames. So what we can do is we can say if frames smaller than 2200, then, which is not 2200, this is, how is it? It is 199 because we are starting from 0. Right? Then we are making the game. So in theory, now the game only lasts for 20 seconds. What we can do is, instead of printing the stupid time that we want, we can print frames modulo 60 on the top. And this shows... Oh no, this is gonna cycle back to itself. This is not modulo, this is just... Yeah, now this is seconds. Now we have a little timer for us. Give me scores. Yeah, I want another movement that is way more controlled, basically. This is not fully 20 seconds then, right? Because I cannot play the last frame. Like the frame there when this happens. So it is indeed this. It's like a really small difference, but If I'm gonna play for 20 seconds, I want to play for 20 seconds. Math is math. There you go, 20 seconds. And 492. So one thing I'm already not sure about is if kiting the enemies around is too big of a advantage. That said, you want to follow an enemy, so it's like not fully you want to avoid them. Like, I'm not even sure what is a good gameplay here yet. Let's do the thing where I can hold a button so I move slower. So local movement speed equals 2. I can do this way. Not all of them. These 4 movement speed. And if PTN 5 for now, this is one of our buttons, then movement speed was 1. So this is the base movement speed, and this is the slow movement speed. Yeah, one out. Numbers, Jesus, my mind. 5, 8, 7. That's already better. Let's create a button to restart. If PTMP 4. For now, just say init. This is a very easy way to restart something, but in the end, it won't be a really nice solution. Follow this one down, follow this one up, follow this one down, follow you, follow you. 7, 4, 6. So if I press C now, we can restart. One thing I did not like is how, so like now I follow this, now this is coming down, now I can follow this up, now he's going here, I can follow you, I can follow this. So like the gameplay goes very focused in one area so far, or like how I play. So maybe we will consider some kind of pickups that can spawn far away from you and do things. So you are more incentivized to go out and search for them. Thing is how far they should spawn and how much, what should they do? One thing I know I don't want in this game is basically a life system. I want the score system basically to just dictate the game. So I don't want you to have, I don't know, 4 lives and 4 collisions and you restart the game. I want to give the player the chance to always play, basically. The thing I noticed so far is I don't really look where the other enemies are. I just follow the one and try to find another. So maybe what we want is to make it so that the losing of the scores is greater than how you gain them. So let's double it. So at least you want to be somewhat aware of what is coming at you. Jesus. My points. My precious points. It's already so much harder. I will note this down at the top. Things to figure out. Do I want pickups? What would they do? Play seems to stagnate between an area. Do I want the losing of the scores to be worse than gaining? So you are more mindful. Oh, you know what we could do? What we could do, and I think would be fun, is points equals 1. Assign a value to an enemy. If R&D is more than 5, then enemy dot points equals 4. And down here if enemy dot point equals 1, then else what we can do is make it so that sometimes an enemy is... Oh, what happened? Enemy point? Is it a point? Is it points? It's points. Oops. My bad. The enemies were all black and I was not sure why. And this R&D should be only 15. So what you can do is make it so that sometimes this should not be this rare. I messed up something. It is this rare on 0.5. Let's do it this 5. Oh, okay, let's not do it flashing. Let's do it 14. Oi. Oh, it's static 14, not random 14. So what we can do, and this is just a proof of concept as well, is sometimes we can spawn an enemy who's worth way more points than the others. So like here you're doing your stuff, I'm like, and then like this pink one spawns and I'm like, oh, I want to get there, it's worth so much points if I stay close to it. Yeah. So you chase it down, basically. It's like creating a cool point for the player to focus on. Which now I feel a bit more common than I wanted, but it's like so it is the losing twice as the points. Let's go back to here. So it breaks up the chase gameplay between your local focus area, because I'm here and then it's like, I want these points, I want these points. The only issue with this is at some point we will need to balance it so that they're not strictly better, or at least you have some consideration to do with how you approach them. Because if they are strictly better than anything else, then the gameplay basically comes down, if you try to make a high score, it basically comes down to, do I get the response or do I not? So yeah, we will probably stop here today. I will either come back later, but I don't think so. Maybe we will have a stream tomorrow. We'll see. But I will have to grab what? Lunch? Dinner? Food. And we're approaching our usual shorter stream time. And today won't be a longer one because I'm quite hungry. But yeah, we have a more refined prototype now. What I could do even is export this and open a playtesting if people find it fun at all. I forgot to record a proper GIF of it. I still don't feel like you really care about the enemies that hurt you. So you might reduce their numbers, but make it so that they are more impactful, I think is the right word. Okay, let's see, do we have someone up to raid? PGB is on playing ahead in time. Thing is, I will have to raid and drop, but hey, if you want, we're gonna jump over to PGB. They are a cool little cozy gamer / artist. We try raid from time to time. They just came back from a bigger break. So let's send some love their way. We have, I think, a raid message if I do this. If you want, just copy this and paste it in when we are going. So he knows the arcade is closed and we are all here. I will thank you for jumping in, and I'm not saying surely that we will have a stream tomorrow, but there is a possibility. So if you want to get notified, I am on all my socials, of course. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you have a nice rest of your weekend. Take care and bye bye.